here on my channel, I help you level up your money. And one of the ways that I do that is by teaching you how to develop what's called a wealth mindset. I have a whole playlist on this that I'll link to in the description. But today we're talking about the key distinctions between a wealth mindset and what I like to call a lack mindset. Sometimes it's also called a scarcity mindset, and what the difference is between those two, and then how you can really start to shift your mindset over into that wealth side of the equation. So let's take a look at the key differences. The things that really set people with a wealth mindset apart are the way that they perceive opportunities, challenges, and their own potential for success. So let's break this down. So number one is to look at the perspective on opportunities. So for someone with a wealth mindset, they're going to look at opportunities and see a world full of opportunities. And this could be very much independent of what's going on in the world, where the economy is, where the markets are. It's very much a mindset is something we have complete control over, which is great. And so it's not dependent on everything going well in the financial world or in your life to have a wealth mindset. So that's the first thing, is that they really focus on opportunities. On the flip side, what happens with people with a lack mindset is that they look around and they might have great opportunities sitting in front of them, but they can't see them because their lack mindset is getting in their own way. Often we're our own worst enemies. And I don't want to say that a lack mindset comes from nowhere. Lack mindsets often are very common among people who come from poor backgrounds, from places of scarcity, from places of hardship and adversity. So they come from a very real place. Or even if you weren't brought up in difficult times, maybe your parents were, and then they passed their mindset about money onto you. Maybe your grandparents did, and same thing. A lot of times these mindsets get passed along generationally. So that's the first thing, is really look at how you're looking at opportunities. Are you having that wealth mindset of being able to see all the opportunities there are for yourself out there and have a very positive, optimistic outlook? Or are you having an outlook that says, oh my goodness, like there's not enough opportunities to go around, all the best opportunities are already taken, everyone else has it so good, there's nothing left for me? So that's the first thing, is how are you looking at opportunities in your life? The second thing is where you focus and put your focus and attention on. So people with a wealth mindset are going to focus on things like growth, long-term goals, continuous learning, professional development, self-development, things like that. They have this overarching goal in mind of what they want to do with their lives. They're looking at the big picture, versus people with a lack mindset are often preoccupied with immediate survival and day-to-day short-term needs. Now, again, this could come from a very real place. You might be right this minute in a place where you're really dealing with a financial hardship, really dealing with a lack of material goods in your life, maybe having trouble paying the bills, putting enough food on the table. If you're there, do not feel bad about it whatsoever if that's the mindset that you're identifying yourself as having right now, because regardless of your external circumstances, you can start to change your mindset right now. And so really being able to focus even in hard times, be able to kind of pull back and look at the big picture instead of just getting caught up in that daily grind of trying to pay the bills and pay the rent and get food on the table. It's so easy to get sucked into kind of the day-to-day minutia and miss the bigger picture, especially when money's tight. So really look at yourself and kind of see, where are you in terms of how are you spending what are you focusing on? What are you choosing to put your attention on? Are you getting too down in the weeds, or are you able to back up and look at the bigger picture and look and see maybe how you can improve your life, how you can improve your situation, no matter where you're starting from? The third thing about wealth mindset is your response to challenges. So people with a wealth mindset, they're seeing opportunities for growth and learning within every challenge. And this is something that's really important, is rather than seeing it as an obstacle in their way that they're never going to be able to overcome, they just look at it as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to learn, to try new things, to build new skills, to reach out for help. On the flip side, people with a lack mindset often look at challenges as threats that confirm their belief in scarcity. So let's say you have something that you were really trying to do, like let's say you're trying to apply for a job, and you get turned down for that job. And rather than saying, oh, well, I learned something in that interview process and I learned some interesting things, and at least it was practice with my interview skills and applying for a new position. And instead of saying, oh, it was practice, it was great practice, it just didn't work out, on to the next one, you say, okay, I knew going into that interview that that wasn't going to go well. I just had this like gut feeling that this wasn't going to go well. And so now that it didn't go well, I'm just going to give up. Who needs more money? I'm just going to go back to my old job that I had, and I'm never going to get anywhere, and I'll just deal with not having enough money and being in debt the rest of my life. So that's the way that those two mindsets let you approach the same situation and come away with two completely different answers, right? With the one answer, with the wealth mindset, you're going to keep applying for new jobs, versus with the other answer, with the lack mindset, you're going to go home and put Netflix on and give up. And believe me, I have been there at that point where it's just so much easier to give up. It is. But in the long term, you are doing yourself a disservice by giving up, and giving up in the face of challenges. So keep on going. I just want you to get some encouragement from that today. The fourth thing to think about with wealth mindset versus lack mindset is your impact on decision making. So for people with a wealth mindset, their decision making is really driven by the potential for growth and improvement. So they're always looking, when they're making decisions in their life, they're always looking to say, thinking about their future selves, for example, rather than everything, that they might want and need right this minute. They're thinking about their future selves. They're thinking about, how does this decision about how I spend my time, my money, my energy, where I'm focusing on, where I'm putting my attention, what's this doing for my future self? Is it doing positive things? Is it going to move me in a positive direction? Or is it going to kind of be neutral? Or is it going to actually, in the case of, say, a bad habit, move me in a negative direction that's going to hurt me in the long run? So they really, again, are able to keep that perspective of that kind of 30,000-foot view when they're making decisions. People with a lack mindset, on the other hand, often are constrained by fear of loss and a need to protect limited resources when they're making decisions. So, for example, for someone with a lack mindset, they might really be in a situation where, say, they're really afraid to get into investing, for example, because they're like, this little bit of money that I have, I don't want to lose it. And so rather than take the risk of putting it on the markets and potentially losing it, which you can obviously do, by the way. I want to put that disclaimer in here. If you don't know what you're doing with your investments, you can absolutely lose every dollar you put into the markets. So you want to be a wise, informed investor and seek out a good investment advisor. But they might be so constrained by fear of losing money that they never invest, and then maybe miss some wonderful opportunities that are on the markets as well, kind of depending on where the market cycles are that they're getting into. So again, it's really being able to say, from that same situation of, maybe let's say somebody with a wealth mindset is looking at investing, person with a lack mindset is looking at investing, they're going to approach that from two different places, just what's based on going on in their minds and in their mindset. So our mindset is so powerful. And I've got a great book that you've heard me talk about before. I'll link to it in the description. It's called Mindset by Carol Dweck. Wonderful book if you're looking about how to kind of really hack your mindset and get it to be on your team. Get your mind to be playing for Team You instead of playing against you. You always want to have your mindset be on your side. And the fifth thing, when it comes to a wealth mindset, lack mindset, what the difference is the way that behavior and habits work in their lives. So for people with a wealth mindset, they're going to cultivate habits that align with their goals of wealth creation and personal development. So those are the things that they're really going to focus on then as they're cultivating good behaviors, as they're building good new habits into their lives, is to really be focusing on those things. They're more likely to engage in such activities financially, such as saving, investing, continuing their financial education, things like that. So that's something where, again, their mindset is then going to shift their behaviors, because it all starts in here with our thoughts. Our thoughts drive our feelings about life and the things around us, and then our feelings really drive our actions. But it all starts right here in our minds, and so that's why it's really important to get that mind game right first before you do anything else, because it's going to pretty much dictate perhaps not completely your results, but at least the actions you take that will then be more likely to get you good results if you are moving in the right direction, or less likely to get you good results if you give up and don't continue to move forward in your personal life, your financial development, things like that. And then people with a lack mindset, their habits are again often geared towards immediate gratification and survival. So they're not necessarily looking at building solid long-term habits. They're looking at more like dealing with what's right in front of them. So again, they might not be focused very much on investing or saving, building an emergency fund, things like that, because they're so focused on just kind of what's in front of them. So those are really the distinctions between people with a wealth mindset and a lack mindset. And again, for more work on how to level up your mindset, check out Carol Dweck's book. And I will see you again soon in my next video.